Welcome back to Around the Table with Stacy Smith as we're taking a look at the political scene. And while the Democrats were in charge of the House, numerous investigations were launched into the Trump administration, including 2 votes to impeach. Now Republicans are in charge of the House, and investigations have been or will be launched into the Biden administration. So, Jim, isn't turnaround fair play when it comes to politics?
As I mentioned in the earlier segment that was aired earlier today, no, I don't. It depends on the evidence. I know there's this thumb of Donald Trump on the scale here, telling those who still follow him to go after the Biden administration. But if you're going to tilt windmills at windmills and just try to do the bidding of the former president for payback and tit for tat type of politics, it's not going to enable the GOP right now to get any momentum or to get any credibility, which is noticeably lacking right now based on their open civil warfare with the MAGA wing. It doesn't help their cause whatsoever. They're going to have enough time just getting on the same page to pass common sense legislation. If they start opening up these investigations based on a hunch or on a whim or because Donald Trump said so, they're only going to enable the Democrats to continue this narrative of a party that is broken and a party that cannot govern and a party that has become a regional party at best and unable to field candidates. If the GOP thought what happened to them in 2022's November election was bad, and they start chasing and tipping at windmills, wait till they see what happens in 2024 when the Democrats put up candidates on issues and they put up candidates on vendetta.
Joe or the governor?
I believe that it was inevitable during the period of time that the investigation was going on January 6th. Republicans kept saying, we get control, we're going to come back, we're letting you know, we're going to come back and we're going to conduct our own investigations. I don't know what the investigations get you. You got to turn it over to the Department of Justice. It would have been a very strong, but very difficult leadership mode to say, we're moving on. But I think it would have been well received by the people of the United States if we said, we're moving on. And this whole thing with President Biden's having similar documents, not to the same amount, in his one office in D.C. when he was not the vice president anymore, that just added fuel to their fire on being able to say, look, see, they do it and they're investigating him. 2 completely different things, but still the same. Hey, you weren't supposed to do that. And I will make this observation. I made it to my wife earlier today. President Biden would have been much better served if, when he discovered it on November the 2nd, that they went public with it. I know they did. They said, well, we turned it over and everything. Should have gone public on November the 3rd or 4th. And they wouldn't have the ammunition that they've given, a little bit of ammunition that they've given the Republicans to argue for this.
If you're a simple-minded partisan, whatever opportunities arise for you to attack the other side, it's easy for you to ignore the details, and the devil is in the details, as we all know. These are not equal situations. Because Bill Clinton was impeached, is it okay to impeach Donald Trump? Well, no, it doesn't work that way. Impeachment stands on its own. The facts are either there or they're not. There's probable cause or there's not. There's a prima facie case or there's not. And it's different from one administration to the next. But it's easy as a partisan to say, well, they did it to him, we're going to do it to their guy now. That's a simplistic approach. It's an ignorant approach in terms of an approach that someone would take if they don't care about the facts. They're ignorant of the facts. But that's not the way these things are supposed to work.
As a trial attorney, I've always believed in the trial tactic of bringing out your issues on direct examination before the other side can cross-examine your witness or your client on those same issues. Because the jury or the judge, when that happens, is saying, well, why didn't he tell me that? Or why didn't they let me know that on their own? Why am I only hearing this from the other side? So we'll get that stuff out and we'll deal with it on direct. So and you can see the defense attorney scratching off a ton of questions once you do that, Now, when they do come in on their cross-examination, the cat's out of the bag and you've already addressed it. The jury or the judge has already started to think about what that means in a light favorable to you because of how you articulated it. And it's the same in politics. If you have an issue that has a potential to be spun by your opposition, you have an obligation, I think, and a need to control that narrative. So yes, they did the right thing on immediately cooperating and immediately working to deal with the situation, unlike what Donald Trump did. But the next step would have been to discuss it openly and candidly and what they've done to deal with it. And then, unlike Mr. Trump, this is what we did. Unlike Mr. Trump, this is how we handled it. Unlike Mr. Trump, these are our facts versus his facts. Now it's on the back page of the paper at this time. So you deal with it that way. You know, I always call it the Marco Ramius. I was a big fan of the book Red October, and you know, it's a military tactic too. Attack before the enemy can arm themselves, and he turned the submarine into the torpedo before they could arm themselves. Deal with it before it deals with you.
All right. Well, let's do. We're almost out of time on this segment, but I do have to ask this question, and it goes to all three of you. Very quick answers, if you can. Is there anything that the Republicans have brought up so far that makes you think that they do have a legitimate reason to investigate?
No,
Not that I've seen, you know, but and I think politically, if I were in their camp, I'd tell them to move on, you know, promote some positive legislation for the good of the American people. And you might win an election. You know, they've lost in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2022. They've lost those elections with the antics that are going on their side of the aisle. You know, it's time to settle down and start leading.
Well, I have to bring it up. The elephant in the room for the Republicans, and this is the one that they're holding back and saying they're going to investigate, but they've already indicated they will, and that is the president's son.
Right.
Well, then the Democrats will investigate the president's daughter, the former president's daughter. Come on, you got to stop this stuff. Who cares? Who cares about Biden's son, really, in terms of the future of America? Does that do anything for us? I think not.
they're chasing mirages. I mean, you know, if I'm the chairman in a weird kind of way, if they not that I want to see them do it, but if they do, my God, would I and my colleagues have an opportunity to do some significant work to enable our party to be even more successful.
All right, Governor, any comment at all?
You know, the one aspect of this is they're all trying to one up each other, Republicans and Democrats alike. And the creation of the Jordan Committee, for want of a better description, I was reading about today, and saying that they can actually go in and investigate every agency that's conducted an investigation, to me is a very difficult issue when it comes to the separation of powers. There's three co-equal branches of government, and they seem to have forgotten that.
Okay, we need to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.